to take you on a trip back in time to 1918, where this old orchard couple, orchardists, planted a tree next to their house, which was built in 1888. And amazingly, that house and the tree are still there today. Unfortunately, this tree has a lot of problems. It's been worked on its entire life, and there is a lot of decay. The main crotch of the tree has a lot of problems as well. And you can see that 50 years ago, there was some interesting procedures done to it. So we were called out here today to lighten up the tree over the house because it is in really rough shape. We started by cleaning out the main crotch pockets, which I have never seen anything so deep. But looking at the tree, there are a lot of interesting things that have been done to this tree. This through rod, it was a threaded rod with some sort of a turnbuckle, was placed up there, obviously because someone recognized 50 or 60 years ago that this main crotch pocket was a weakness.
Does it go through the bark?
Fortunately, nobody ever put any bore holes through it, because if you drill through a pocket like this to allow the water to come out, that just makes things worse.
What do you think?
So there was better than a foot of water in there, and when we got to the job, it was filled up all the way to the top.
It's just an old.
As old as this house is, you never know. And the last thing you're going to do is we're going to try and blow out the last bit of the water in here so that hopefully it'll dry out during the day. But I tell you, those are some of the deepest main crotch pockets I've ever dealt with. And I will be really surprised if it's not compromised. If it's bark all the way to the bottom and it's a containment, that wouldn't be near as bad as if the bark is decayed inside and it's going into a hollow. This is kind of interesting. This union right here, it's almost like it grafted itself back together at one time for support. It's a real odd growth. I mean, I wouldn't do that if I was you.
I'm not gonna hang on. Just
yeah.
Feels pretty strong.
Yeah.
But I mean, we don't have threads holding it. That is a big branch up there, right over this really expensive old antique house. God, I wish there was some sort of device that would make it easy to lower it off the rope. I mean, we can't just throw it over there and hold it. It's gonna be really tough.
Oh, come on!
Yeah, back in 1947, I was out here with my friends playing baseball. We lost the baseball up there in this crotch, and damned if we didn't find it today.
Well, my good friend Jim McDermott called me up and said, "Hey, I'm heading back to Iowa. Have you got one more job that you could video of me that I could show my rope break?" And this one just came up. This wasn't even on the schedule, but the woman was so afraid. But I said, okay, we'll do it. So I moved my schedule around and said, okay, Jim, you're on. So we all worked with Jim. I have complete faith in Jim. I've worked with him many, many times, and I've known him for a long time. He's a master in a bucket, and he's extremely careful. So you're going to have a bit of a longer video here. You're going to watch how his rope break works. Hopefully you find it interesting.
take that ring cover. Stop short and let it hinge over. Let it open up, okay? Don't cut it all the way through. Let the wood control it part way and then cut it off. I'll pull it.
Yeah, don't let it hit the house. It's on you.
Move the anchor point.
Yeah.
Too much swing. Now get it tiny on there. Bad spot.
Yeah, his phone is the video camera right now. What do you need? Got it. Okay.
You hold it tight.
Yeah.
cut that thing in one piece.
Okay, I just don't have any other small ties. Can't you just go up and put a triple wrap and take it as one?
Yeah. Oh no, hang tight, Sue. I'm comfortable with that, but it's awful big, and there's going to be some swing.
Or you just do it in like three small pieces?
I do it in 2 pieces.
Yeah.
Oh, do it in 2 pieces?
Yeah, it's too close to the house there. It's as heavy as it is. I'm holding it out, but when it swings out, it's picking me up and pulling me across the yard.
Yeah.
Yeah, just do a few small cuts, it'll be alright.
Okay, 2 small cuts.
1-3.
Alrighty then.
1-3.
Do you want to do another wrap?
Was that last one heavy?
It was a little heavy, but
Let's do another wrap.
Even if I cut them in half the length, you still want 3 wraps?
Go ahead and put another wrap.
Okay. Go ahead and fire it up then.
Right now you've only got 1 full wrap. Just do 2 full wraps. About 500 pounds. Looks like a stub, doesn't it? Sticking out about 6 or 8 inches too far. That was my first thought too. And I went over to the other side, and I'll show you what we see. And if you look from this side, you can see over on the left there's another old wound. And in order to cut that off so that it was a proper looking cut, the size of the cut would have been twice as big because it would have cut into that other old wound. So while it looks like a stub, it's actually the appropriate cut. Sometimes you got to leave it out a little bit further to keep from making a larger wound than you need to.